What's happening, y'all? I think I got one of these out last week, if I'm not mistaken, but I know that I have not consistently covered every single episode of the season. You know, as I said last time, dealing with loss, so just bear with me. But I was able to catch today's episode. If you have not watched this episode of the Challenge World Championships, obviously don't watch this video because this is a recap. So after you have completed watching the Challenge World Championships episode this week, you can come back to this live and watch the replay. But for those who have watched the Challenge World Championships, the latest episode that just dropped today, this is just a quick review slash recap of that. So I'm really getting tired of this whole theme that I keep talking about every single week of the Challenge USA slash Survivor players versus the MTV Challenge players, because that has basically been what this season has set up to be. Even though they've put them on teams with each other, which I can assume was to avoid that type of situation happening. The people who are from the season that played together, Survivor and all that, have been joining together and working against their teammates. So once again, the ringleaders of this have been Danny and Sarah. So Danny and Sarah last week agreed that this week they would vote in Emily and Yes in exchange for their partners last week, voting in Tristan and Kellyanne. Sarah said that they had no intent to honor that deal, and they were just saying what they had to say in order to get agreement from their partner for that week. So it shows that Emily and Yes are actually aligned with Sarah and Danny. They formed friendships with them and they're working together in the game. So if there was a situation to throw them in, they were not planning to throw them in. Kaz and Jordan have an argument. Kaz feels like her voice is not being heard. Jordan was getting upset. Jordan and her were having this back and forth, and it was all relating to last week when they put in Tristan and Kellyanne. Tristan is Kaz's friend, close friend, and Jordan didn't take into consideration her opinion, I guess, and he's like, I'm the one who's done this game so many times. You know, I guess it was kind of like my voice is the only voice that matters. I'm in charge of this team. You're just here playing with me, but I'm the one who makes all the decisions. I wear the pants. And she didn't like that. So they showed that they had this kind of tiff about that. So we get into the daily. Again, more water. I'm so upset that Wes is out. Man, all of these challenges are like Wes challenges that Wes could have won. But he's not in there anymore, so that's neither here nor there. But I'm looking forward to watching his recap on Patreon whenever he puts that up. But yeah, I think this is like the second or third swimming challenge that they've had, and it looks like in the preview for next week they're gonna have another swimming challenge. So this is heavily catered towards Emily right now because she's the only swimmer. She's the only true swimmer there. But they did a catch for this swimming challenge because they made you have to be tethered to your partners and you're only as strong as your weakest link. It still seems like Emily and Yes were doing quite well, but it seemed like Jordan and Kaz had a very good chance to catch them and beat them, except they made a mistake. Jordan and Kaz made a mistake. Well, by Jordan and Kaz, I mean Jordan made a mistake, but Kaz is his partner, so it's like they both made the mistake because that's how it counts in the books. and Emily and Yes seem to have won by mere seconds. And that's because they got extra time to do the puzzle and the math problem. Although they each had 2 guesses wrong, but still, they had so much more time to get started because of the fact that Jordan pulled one of the wrong colored puzzle pieces that wasn't for them, and then ended up having to go back out to the water and do like an extra lap. So Emily and Yes win. So of course Danny and Sarah are happy about that because they don't have to show their hand and fight and show that they literally just lied last week. Let me tell y'all something. Now that I've watched Survivor, I understand. Okay? If you have not watched Survivor and you just watched the challenge, you might be like, wow, they agreed to do something this week, but they had no intention of honoring it the next week. They don't play with honor. Survivor players do not play with honor. Let me tell you. Survivor players play to survive. So they will have a conversation. Oh, yeah, we all agreed that we're going to vote out Danny. And then the next thing you know, there was 5 people in that conversation. There's like 2 or 3 breakout conversations afterwards where it's like, this person threw Danny's name out there, but I don't want Danny out. This person is a bigger threat, so let's get this one out. Or if, let's say, everybody agreed to vote out Danny, I'm saying if this was Survivor, everyone agreed to vote out Danny, and then 30 minutes before the tribal, something happens and they're like, no, actually, we don't want Danny out. We want Sarah out. They could rally and get everybody on board just like that. And even somebody who didn't want Sarah out is like, I don't want to go against them because I don't want to be the target. That's how Survivor is. Survivor is like, do what you got to do to survive the week. Next week, we'll do something different. You could be my strong alliance right now. By next week, I mean tomorrow, because I know that Survivor goes by days, but we see it once a week. So that's what I mean by that. Survivor is like, do what I have to do to survive the week. Say anything that I need to say to survive the week. Lie, cheat, steal. You know, that's the game of Survivor. So it's interesting because Danny is like, the thing about, I think they're called the MVPs. No. Maybe the new people are called the MVPs. Well, I just call them the vets. And he's kind of like the MVPs and the legends. Okay, so I think the legends, I think they're called legends in this game. So Danny is like, the legends play with their emotions. The legends base everything on relationships. They don't think strategically. Like, I'm trying to win for my daughter, for my family, the college fund. Admirable, okay? But it's not really, I don't really see it as one plays honorably and one doesn't. One plays this way and one plays that way. I just see it as like, y'all are playing different types of games. That period. Because Survivor, you're not playing with somebody for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seasons. You're playing with them that season. And it's like, you're not making moves based on, okay, when I come back next year, this person is going to remember that I did such and such and get me back. It's like, got you. It's over. I'm one step closer to the win. So I don't really think one is better than the other. I just think the Survivor players are bringing their Survivor mentality to the game. Just like Big Brother. When Big Brother started getting on the show, the Big Brother players were bringing their Big Brother mentality to the game. And actually, now the game operates a lot more like Big Brother. And what I mean by that is like, people try to be in groups. They try to get in as big of groups as possible and as many alliances and friendships as possible and go with the majority. The challenge didn't used to be like that so much as it is now. So I just see they have different philosophies and they don't like the way each other plays the game. It is what it is. Y'all are still partnered with each other at the end of the day. So, anyways, and Danny is still saying, I want to get out one of Tori's number ones, which he considers as Casey or Jordan. That's the goal. So Kiki and Darrell finished last in this challenge. Kiki is like having asthma attacks, and we know Darrell can't swim. Not that it was a guarantee that they were going to finish in last anyways, because we saw that what's his name can't swim either. I don't know why I can't think of his name right now. The guy who came back after he had his eye injury, Theo. I don't know why I couldn't think of his name. Theo is not in my notes because they didn't really have too much Theo coverage this week. So it showed us a behind the scenes kind of thing that Jordan and Kaz made a deal with Emily and Yes. Surprisingly, Jordan doesn't make deals. So Kaz and Jordan must have had some serious talk that they didn't show us, because when have we ever seen Jordan agree to a deal with anyone? So Jordan actually said to Yes and Emily that if you guys are winning next week's challenge, and we're ahead of you, or like we have a chance to beat you guys in next week's challenge, we'll lay down and finish in second. I don't like that. But he said that he's honoring his partner Kaz, and I keep saying that you're only as good as your partnership. So if your partner's not happy with you, it's going to be hard to play the game with them, and it's going to be hard to run a final with them. And I guess Kaz thought the best thing to do is to politic with Emily and Yes to make sure that they avoid going into the elimination. Whereas Jordan is always like, I'll die on my sword. Jordan is always like, if anyone knows Jordan is like, I'm not scared to be in an elimination. Throw me in there and I'm going to beat somebody. I'm not worried about that. But his partner is like, I'm not trying to go in. So they make this deal. Like I said, I don't like the deal, but I understand him trying to listen to his partner so that his partner's not mad at him anymore. Because we've seen what happens when a partnership goes amok. So that keeps them safe. So then we get to this round table. It showed all episode that Jordan was thinking of throwing himself in. Tori was thinking of throwing herself in to keep Jordan safe. People dabbled with that. Danny was obviously like, no, I'm not going in. I'm not volunteering to go in to save Jordan. Obviously, that wasn't going to work. When Tori was like, I'm trying to get Danny to see my point of view, I thought that he was going to start yelling at her like, are you nuts? He looked relatively calm when he was like, no, this is not happening. So they all agreed to a stalemate. This is the reason why I'm telling you guys that I have not been enjoying this split of the survivor people, the challenge people, whatever, and the different countries and all of that, because then the game becomes way too politicky. We should never have a stalemate, man. And I wish that instead of TJ implementing the same stalemate rule, I wish he had been like, all right, I told you guys not to stalemate. So that means that the losers get to pick anybody they want to go against. I wish that had been, I was hoping that would be the case, that there would be some kind of plot twist that doesn't reward people not making those choices. I mean, yes, it still puts all of them on the board. It still makes everybody available to go in, but they kind of know based on the conversations that they had with Emily and Yes who they were going to pick in the event that this happened, you know? So I would rather it be something where the stalemate rule has different effects and impacts. But I just don't like the fact that everyone was like, well, this is what my vote would be. This is what mine would be. This is mine. This is mine. All right. So let's just agree to a stalemate. I would rather a stalemate that comes after everyone makes votes and the votes come out to a stalemate versus all of us making a handshake agreement. Like, let's make this a stalemate. I didn't like that. So Emily and Yes are like, great. This is what we wanted. Emily and Yes put in Troy and Casey. And I'm like, Troy and Casey are probably going to win. That's instantly what I was thinking. I mean, the fact that Troy got Casey, he won the lotto. Casey's one of the strongest females there. He seems to be strong. I think he won his season, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't watch his season, but I think he won. So they go in. Darrell and Kiki finally get taken out. You know, this was not their challenge. This is not their day. Casey and Troy come back. So after all that talk by these Survivor players, mainly Danny and Sarah, about how, oh, we're going to get out one of these players. We're going to get out one of these number ones, blah, blah, blah. We got to get out Jordan, or we got to get out, who was the other one? Casey. Jordan or Casey. That was what they were saying. They want Jordan or Casey to be out. Casey's still there. Jordan is still there. And as far as we know, it seems like next week's daily might be the last daily. So all this talk they're saying about we're playing the game. Oh, these guys, they're the legends that have been doing this for years and we're running the game, blah, blah, blah. The people that you wanted out are mostly still there. Like, you got Wes out, but Wes made his own bed there. He finished in last place in that daily. He chose not to drink the drink, so he kind of did that for himself. There's no power moves really that they've made that have taken out the people that they want out. The people they want out and the people they keep saying, I don't want to run the final against these guys, they're still there. There's 1 week left. You're going to have to beat them. Unless something happens where Jordan and Kaz go out next week, which I hope they don't. I hope that Danny goes head to head with these people that he's wanted out all season. If he beats them, cool. You know, like, I'm not going to be mad if he wins, but I want to see him have to go up against them and win. Everybody is there for something, man. Like, I mean, I guess some people's why or some people's reasons are less than others, but everybody is there for something. It's just a season where partners are just a lot of times not on the same page, and they're just they never agree on the votes. It's just an interesting season in that regard. The conclusion looks like it's coming up soon. We've been getting these 2 to 3 part finals. The last season they just had Ride or Dies. We had a 3-episode final. I hope we don't have another one. I hope that it's like 2 episodes, but I see the potential for it to be 3 because it looks like the final might start at the end of next week's episode, and then it might continue into a following week and conclude into a following week. I don't know this. This is just my guess. I don't necessarily have a horse in this race in terms of who I'm rooting for. I would say that out of who is there, I most want Jordan to win. Jordan and Kaz. That's what I'm hoping for. Just because of the fact that Danny and Sarah have wanted Jordan out all season. So I just want to see him go against them, beat them, and hold that title of Challenge World Championship. Hold it down for my MTV vets because I'm a Challenge fan first. I started to like Survivor. I started to like Big Brother. But the Challenge is always going to be my number one. I love the Challenge. So I'm always going to love my vets. That's it for my recap for this week. Please hit the like button, drop a comment, hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. Shout out to the replay crew, and I'll see y'all soon.